In the narrow winding streets of Sepolia, a low-income neighborhood in Athens, Greece, life moved with quiet struggle. Tourists rarely wandered that far. The buildings were chipped and weary, the shops humble and tired. In those streets, among the rhythm of honking horns and the scent of roasted corn from street vendors, walked a tall, thin boy selling trinkets to strangers. His name was Giannis, but he wasn't alone. Often beside him was his brother Thanasis. Together they would walk from dawn to dusk, hawking. Sunglasses, DVDs, and whatever they could carry. They didn't do it for fun, they did it to eat. Their parents, Charles and Veronica, had fled Nigeria before Giannis was born, seeking a better life in Europe. But in Greece, opportunity didn't come easy for immigrants without papers. The Antetokounmpos were stateless, invisible to the system. No passports, no national ID, no security. Just love, faith, and a hunger to survive. Giannis was the second youngest of 5 boys. His father was a former soccer player, his mother, a high jumper. The genes were there, but opportunity wasn't. He didn't pick up a basketball until he was nearly 12 years old. In Greece, soccer ruled. Basketball was barely a thought, but the game found him anyway. A coach from a small club called Philathletikos saw Giannis and his brothers lingering around a court. He noticed the way Giannis moved, how his long limbs glided when he ran. There was something there, not yet skill, but potential. At first, Giannis was awkward. He had no handle, no shot, no footwork. What he did have was something harder to teach: drive. He stayed late, worked harder than anyone else, and soaked in the game like a dry sponge meeting water. There were days when he and Thanasis shared one pair of basketball shoes. When one brother played, the other sat on the bench, waiting for his turn. Still, he kept showing up, even when he had to jog through dangerous neighborhoods, even when the gym lights were out, even when his stomach growled with hunger. His talent began to shine. Scouts took notice, and soon whispers began circling about the long, raw kid from Greece who played like a gazelle and moved like water. In 2013, the whispers crossed the ocean. NBA scouts were skeptical. He was playing in Greece's second division. His stats weren't jaw-dropping. He looked more like a project than a sure thing. But the Milwaukee Bucks saw enough. With the 15th overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft, they took a chance. When Giannis heard his name, he cried. Not just out of joy, but from the weight being lifted off his family. That moment meant papers. That moment meant hope. In America, Giannis arrived wide-eyed and humble. He barely spoke English. He sent most of his paycheck home. He didn't own flashy cars or expensive clothes. He rode his bike to practice. He smiled at fans. He thanked his teammates. He studied the game. Year by year, he grew, both literally and figuratively. From 6 feet 9 inches to 6 feet 11 inches, his body transformed, and so did his game. He added muscle, strength, and confidence. He went from bench warmer to starter, from starter to star, from star to MVP. By 2021, he had achieved what many thought impossible. Giannis led the Milwaukee Bucks to their first championship in 50 years, delivering 50 points in Game 6 of the finals. A poetic and perfect performance. But what makes Giannis a legend isn't just the accolades, it's the road he traveled. The boy who once sold watches in the shadows of Athens now wore the crown of basketball royalty. He didn't just chase the American dream, he redefined it. And through it all, he never forgot who he was. The son of Nigerian immigrants, the brother who shared sneakers, the invisible boy who rose from the cracks and carved his name into basketball history. Giannis Antetokounmpo's story is more than a sports story. It's a reminder that greatness doesn't always come from where you start, but from how far you're willing to go.